I'm Nabil Khan, founder of the Zyris organization and Zyris Software.
And I'm Stephanie Kraus, a local designer.
In this video, we're going to provide a brief breakdown of SequiLux, a proof of concept fashion piece that we made for MakeFashion 2016.
The design for this dress came out of the desire to create something that was fun, almost magical. Something that would feel like I was surrounded by a celestial light or a glimmering energy. Honestly, like something out of a fantasy film or a Disney movie. At the same time, I needed something reasonably practical. I knew I'd be running around for hours backstage at the MakeFashion Tech Gala in whatever I designed. That I'd need to be able to move, sit, stand, and bend uninhibited. That the fabric would need to be heavy enough to provide support for the electronics, but lightweight enough that I wouldn't overheat. I also wanted something that would be conducive to a fast-paced social space, meaning I didn't want to be changing batteries midway through the event or having to stop mid-conversation to change the dress settings. With these requirements in mind, I designed the first iteration to be very tech-centric, an environmentally controlled peplum dress with 6 strategically placed proximity sensors. Output from these sensors would allow the crisscrossing LED strands to change color and hue based on the proximity of the people around me. However, as the dress needed to be completed just 2.5 weeks from the time we began working on it, we decided to reduce the technical complexity of the dress with a more adventurous multi-tier design. Even dropping the complexity, the second iteration of the design was ambitious given the aggressive timeline, and rather than risking the possibility of having to rush the interface design, I chose to investigate the feasibility of integrating the technical vision I had for the dress with an existing piece. After surveying several options, I found, unexpectedly and fortuitously, the designers of BCGB Maxazeria had already created a very similar dress, using lace and lining that fit the structural requirements and had the added bonus of diffusing the light better than the materials I had experimented with. Using their dress as a boilerplate allowed us to experiment with lighting effects and placement, testing battery requirements for each configuration, and spending more time on developing near-effortless and intuitive controls.
There were a few technical challenges we encountered while designing and building SequiLux, the biggest of which was the power requirements. Typically, when you're working with a small number of LEDs, power isn't a major concern. But since SequiLux contains over 280 RGB LEDs, the power requirements quickly became one. Each RGB LED is in fact comprised of 3 diodes in a small surface-mountable case, meaning if all are turned on, we would need to provide power for close to 850 diodes. While each LED only consumes 20 milliamps of current at full brightness, all of them require in excess of 7 amps, far higher than an Arduino or other microcontrollers are capable of providing. To overcome this challenge, we decided to change 2 things. We updated the concept a little to reduce the maximum number of LEDs on at a particular time, and we revised the Zyris Fashion controller to provide support for up to 5 amps of continuous current. Now that we had a board that was capable of powering the LEDs, we needed to find a battery strong enough to provide power for the duration of the MakeFashion Gala. This caused us to research the various battery technologies on the market and settle on an 8,000 mAh lithium polymer battery for radio-controlled cars. While this battery would be more than sufficient for powering SequiLux for the duration of the gala, its use would introduce a major safety concern. LiPo batteries are great solutions when a large amount of power is required in a relatively small form factor, but if they are discharged too fast due to a short circuit, they can quickly turn from a power supply into an incendiary device. To prevent this from occurring, we updated the Zyris Fashion controller with onboard current and battery temperature monitoring, as well as adding firmware support to prevent current overdraws. With these modifications, we were able to safely and stably power SequiLux.
Okay, so I'm going to be demoing the SequiLux dress. As you can see, we have a full-length run chasing around the dress at the moment to show you the full spectrum that it's being configured for. We also have Dye Technologies Ode Light Wire in the V-neck here in a lovely green. And then also in the V-neck, you can see the proximity sensor used for controlling the length of the lights. So if I put my hand in front, you can see here, now it's about a medium length and showing a far shorter range of the spectrum. If I want to actually shut the light off, I'll wait for it to come around here, and then hand in front of the light, and now it's off. To turn it on, same gesture, just in front, and here's the full length, full spectrum. Now say that I'm in kind of a very dimly lit room and I want just a tiny light orbiting around, just a little bit of an effect. Hold my hand in front until we have just our speck of light orbiting around the dress.
If you have a wearable idea you'd like to collaborate on, please visit Zyris-software.com to get in touch.